Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to The Ball Perspective. On your way in the door, go ahead and touch the like button. Hit subscribe if you've never subscribed, and touch that notification bell so you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk. Is a new contract for Lamar Jackson coming, and what will his extension look like? Well, according to owner Steve Bisciotti, he would like to get one done, but if one doesn't get done, the money will be restructured anyway. Steve Bisciotti seems to have a plan for everything, no matter what gets in the way of the Baltimore Ravens becoming a contender and competing in 2026. All things are on the table, right? I think the one thing we can kill and we don't have to address right now is a Lamar Jackson trade. Steve Bisciotti very clearly states in his presser that he wants Lamar Jackson to be his quarterback. And so when we think about what a Lamar Jackson contract would look like, Bisciotti simply says it should look something similar to what it was before. And the question is, what was Lamar Jackson's most recent contract? Well, it was a 5-year, $260 million deal, which gives him an APY of $52 million a year with $185 million in guaranteed money. Now, let's listen to Bisciotti speak for himself, and then we'll talk more.
Steve, do you sense an urgency from Lamar to sign another extension? And are you 100% sold that you want him to be the central figure in the organization for the foreseeable future?
Excuse me. I want him to be my quarterback. I told him his extension was, we had some mechanism to keep him in place last year that we don't, or 3 years ago, that we don't necessarily have now. So I need to make sure that there's only one way. If he doesn't want to do an extension, then we throw those $74 million out into void years, and Lamar's coming back at the same cap number he was last year. You can play with that money all you want. That's not what we want. We want another window, and Lamar knows that. And I think that he's amenable to doing something that mirrors the last deal he did. Although the annual number will be a little higher, but I'm hoping that it's plug a new number in the same contract he signed last year and move on. And the urgency of that matters to me because we've got free agents, and I don't want to go into free agency with that hanging over our head. And I made that clear to Lamar, and I think he was very appreciative of my stance, and hopefully willing to work with Eric and not get this thing dragged out into April.
So you clearly hear Bisciotti make the declaration about a Lamar Jackson contract. And so if I'm Lamar Jackson and I'm looking at what's ahead of me, I'm 29 as of right now. I'll be 30 in 2027. I'll be 31 in 2028. And if I decide to play this long, I will be 32 at the end of a 4-year deal. So if I'm Lamar strategizing, I'm only signing a 4-year extension if I'm signing an extension, or I'm just going to do a restructure for the current season. Now, why would I sign a 4-year extension only? Well, again, at the end of a 4-year deal, he's only 32 years old, which gives him an opportunity to join another team if he has not captured a championship in Baltimore by that time. At 32 years old, Lamar Jackson still should be pretty athletic. He still should have some quicks. He still should be elusive. But at 32, with no chip, he would have to join a team that just needs a quarterback addition to a already competitive roster to get them over the hump. So that would be that kind of scenario if there's no championship in Baltimore. But if we're talking about a Lamar Jackson extension, I think something in that ballpark of 4 years, 248 million, which would put him in that ballpark of 62 million APY. And if that doesn't make him the highest paid quarterback as it pertains to your average, if he wants that acclaim for the 2026 season, then you can kind of push that 4 years, 250 plus. You probably want to inch up to roughly 210 million guaranteed, something like that. Get a little more guaranteed money and get a lot of that paid up front for sure. But I think that based on what he has done in the league, what he has the potential to do under new leadership, I think that making him the highest paid quarterback on a 4-year deal should be right around where things should fall. Again, on both sides, Lamar Jackson should not want to sign anything longer than a 4-year deal, and the Baltimore Ravens should not want to do the 5 or 6-year deal, such as a Josh Allen, because I think his new deal up in Buffalo is, I think, a 6-year deal. Now, I could be incorrect on the years. Nevertheless, I would still want to get out while I'm young, or re-up while I'm still young and have some gas in the tank. So strategy-wise, that's what I would be looking for. 4 years, 248 million plus with about 210 million guaranteed. You guys let me know, do you guys think the Baltimore Ravens should just restructure Lamar and see how things play out in 2026, or give him at least a 4-year deal, make him temporarily the highest paid quarterback in the league based on APY, and roll into 26, 27, and 28 at least, and see if the Baltimore Ravens, led by Lamar Jackson and new head coach leadership, can capture that elusive Super Bowl. Let me know what you think, and until next time, I'm out.